One, two, 1, 2. What's up, y'all? How y'all feel out there? Once again, another edition of the In the Dungeon Show, coming to you live and direct. I am Frank Red, and it's been a while, so we got to get that rhythm back. I'm sure we will. Another incredible sports weekend. NFL is once again proving why it is the number one sport in the United States. I mean, the interest level, the intrigue, the games are always on point, particularly this weekend, a lot of close games, all right? This is In the Dungeon program. My name is Frank Red. We're going to talk about all of the football NFL action that transpired this weekend. San Francisco 49ers were very fortunate to get by the upstart Green Bay Packers, 24-21. We're certainly going to talk about that. This is a show in which we have a lot of Northern California sports fans checking us out. But we talk about everything. The Baltimore Ravens, they didn't need to get a monkey off their back. I think everybody knew Baltimore was good, but they took care of the Tennessee Titans, C.J. Stroud, rookie who has really caught the world by storm with his excellent play coming out of Ohio State, being the number 2 pick as opposed to number 1, going behind Bryce Young. But I think Lamar Jackson is just different right now. And you could talk about his tremendous talent, but it's really about his leadership to me. He looks like one of those guys. He looks like not Pat Mahomes, but you look at Patrick Mahomes, and he never looks rattled. And I think, he showed that in today's game against the Buffalo Bills, who I think were poised to win. I actually feel, pretty bad for Josh Allen and his teammates. I thought they played well enough to win, but you got to beat the champion. And they didn't do it. Ironically, they missed a tying field goal. For you out there who are old enough to remember Norwood, wide right, it was eerily reminiscent of one of those Buffalo kicks that went wide right, because at the very least the game should have been going into overtime, although I think KC had enough time to potentially win the game in regulation. So we're going to talk about that as well. We haven't done a show in a while for a good reason. We're heavy on the Golden State Warriors. A lot of people call up. They like the Warriors. And unfortunately, they are dealing with a tragedy. One of their assistant coaches, Dedan, let me get his name right, Milojevic, Serbian gentleman, just out at dinner on a Tuesday night before a Wednesday night game against the Utah Jazz. He gets a heart attack, 46 years old. And it's shocking, but not surprising. These men and women who are associated with professional sports, every second of their lives is programmed. High intensity, and aesthetically he looked great, but someone like myself who is a big guy, I have an irregular heartbeat, so I have to monitor my heart, and you got to stay on top of it. I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm sure he had the best medical care in the world, but we're all vulnerable, and I'm sure the Warriors are hurting right now because they lose a member of their family. And the Warriors are such an incredible organization. I knew they would get it right. Some other organizations might have agreed differently, but I'm not surprised that the Warriors canceled games to pay homage to Dejan. And it would not even surprise me if a contingent from the Warriors have gone to Serbia. I don't know that. He's Serbian. I have no idea. But I do know people in the building, and I know that they are class personified. And as shocking to the fans as this is, I'm sure internally in that organization, they are equally concerned about Dejan and his family and trying to do everything they can do to help deal with the grieving process in the best possible way. But we'll get into that. We're going to talk some NFL football. And we're going to talk about the 49ers because the sports media in the Bay Area, in Northern California, they kind of drive the narrative. They really do. In ways that I think other big markets don't do as much. Usually in like a place like a New York or a Philly or Boston, there are so many different narratives concerning their teams. And particularly with the 49ers, that's not always the case. I think with regards to Brock Purdy, I mean, some of the things I heard about Brock Purdy this year was just loony talk to me, and I'd rather say nothing as opposed to just kind of say a lot. Brock Purdy's a good quarterback. Let's make no mistake about that. He is a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. And, I mean, you had people talking about Brock Purdy being a great quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. Greatness is measured over time, not up 1 or 2 seasons. Did Brock Purdy have a great year? Absolutely. Is he in the running for the MVP? Absolutely. But to slam the gauntlet down and say, listen, this dude is a great quarterback right now, can't say that. Not me. And I didn't hear enough of that. I also heard people getting slammed when they had an alternative view. And, that's frustrating. The 49ers skill positions is unbelievable. Brock Purdy showed how good he was in that last drive, although he didn't have a great game against Green Bay. He was solid at the end when he needed to be, and he navigated the football down the field and put his team in a position to win. And CMC, I thought CMC had a very good game. He didn't get as many touches as he should have gotten, but I thought he played relatively well. I mean, in between the tackles, the guy's just an absolute beast. He's a missile, and he scored the winning touchdown. But talk about catch radius. I mean, we all had some trepidation when Deebo Samuels got injured and he didn't come back in the game. But Jauan Jennings, listen, that catch that he made surrounded around 4 Green Bay Packers defenders. Those are the type of catches that CeeDee Lamb don't make. Haven't made for Dak Prescott. Jauan Jennings, what is he, the 4th receiver? Dude goes up in the air with 2 hands, body extended, and snatches the ball out of the air to keep that drive alive. You know what I heard from the commentators? Wow, that was Brock Purdy's best throw of the day. I'm like, are you kidding me? What? It was a good read. He threw it up. He trusts his wide receivers. But, give Jauan Jennings some credit. That's the narrative. What about the pass that Brandon Ayuk grabbed off the ground? Literally 3 inches off the ground. 2 hands, just plucked it. George Kittle making great catches. And the great thing about Brock Purdy, though, is that he always gives it up to his teammates. He always does. And most quarterbacks do because they know how hard it is to have success. But you didn't hear that as much this year. You heard more about, what a great player Brock Purdy is. And I'm like, come on, man. Really? Oh, he's top 5. Really? Come on. I want to see this dude get paid. That's what I want to see. In a couple of years from now, 49er fans, I want you to see how the narrative starts to change. When he goes from he's a top 5 quarterback to, well, we want to negotiate and all this crap. No. If he's that damn good, he should be getting one of those Lamar Jackson type contracts. One of those Jalen Hurts type contracts. That's what I want to see. I don't want to feel like the 49ers are playing some cute game of Billy Ball, managing the finances when this guy's going out there every year trying to get it done at his salary. It's totally unfair. If he's that good, then he should be getting paid. I don't want to see this 2 years from now where they're struggling to get this guy back. I don't want to see that. Let's go out and talk to the great Vicky. She says, "Hi, Frank. Good football this weekend. I knew that the Ravens would win. I thought the Lions would win, but I didn't know what KC team would show up tonight. Thanks for having a show tonight." Yeah. Thank you for reaching out to me and just dialoguing, because I didn't know if I was, but it actually feels right now. During the pandemic, I learned a lot about what's important, And obviously, if I was on a commercial radio station and it was my job to get on the radio and talk about sports, then I would have done that. But this is not my job. This is what I love to do. It's a passion. It's an opportunity to talk to the listeners. So thank you. Vicky also says, no INT for Purdy, 2 for Love. Yeah, but he was lucky, right? He's very, very lucky. I mean, threw the ball right to the guy, 26, who burned Dak Prescott like a week earlier. Brock threw the ball right to him. And it happens. I mean, quarterbacks get away with stuff. That's great. Mark Graves says, IU catch saved the game. It was crucial, wasn't it? So, Mark, I think you understand what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that, I mean, the 49ers are a great team. And Dan Campbell makes you believe. I tell you that right now. That dude's different. I mean, I get Bill Parcells vibes, a little Belichick, but Dan Campbell is an awesome coach, great motivator, and he's going to have his team fired up. With that said, if the 49ers lose to the Detroit Lions, that would be one of the biggest upsets in recent memory. I think everybody knows that. Someone comment in the comment section. Someone make a comment and build a strong narrative how Detroit's going to win this game. I can't see it. And it doesn't mean that they're not good. It doesn't mean that they won't play tough, because they will. But the 49ers are significantly better to me. Vicky says, if the 49ers win the Super Bowl, Purdy will be paid with a new contract. I was talking to somebody, Vicky, recently, and I don't know if he can, because it's only his second year. So I think I don't think you can actually. Can you do a negotiation of going into your third year? Maybe they did with Jalen. I don't know. I hope he gets paid, because here's the thing. It's fun to watch football, right? We enjoy it. It's a great diversion. Watching people in Buffalo cry about the loss is a little disturbing to me, but that's just me. That was kind of weird to me, but some people are passionate about their teams. I get it. My point is, it is a day-to-day, game-to-game, year-to-year proposition for everybody out there who puts a uniform on. And I just want to see Brock Purdy's security taken care of. I think he's out there playing high-level football. I don't think that anybody who's playing at that level should be caught up in the mechanics of ancient rules of the NFL or professional sports. One of the great things about Major League Baseball and the NBA is contracts are guaranteed. My man Mark Gray says, Detroit, yes, great point. Detroit will have to win the turnover battle to have a chance. Yeah, that's a great point. And I just think when, the 49ers are on offense, I think they have too many weapons. I mean, when you look at Detroit, they got Ahmad, St. Brown. Oh, yeah, he's good. He's 5'11". I can't see a 5'11" wide receiver blowing the 49ers up. And they got a good running back, Jameer from Alabama, rookie. Laporta is also good, another rookie. But they're a station-to-station football team. Jared Goff is at his best when he's playing play action, right? If the 49ers don't think that you can beat them deep, Greenwald and Warner are primed to stop Detroit. The 49ers front seven, it's probably like a front 11. They got so many defensive linemen. They're poised to give a team like Detroit problems. I actually thought that Tampa Bay, had they beat and upset Detroit, would have given the 49ers more problems because they have some deep threats. Michael, 13, he could beat them deep. And Tampa Bay's defense gets better with a lead. So I thought they potentially could have caused some problems, but not Detroit. So I'll take on it. Vicky says you have to be lucky to be good. I totally agree with that. It sucks when you're unlucky, though, right? Sometimes. Look who said that. Vicky says, Lions history never been to the Super Bowl. Buffalo's history made them cry. Yeah. Mark says Tampa Bay moved the ball against the Lions today. Yeah, they did. They did. And Baker, hey, man. Baker's proved to a lot of people that he's built for this. Whether or not he should have been the number one pick, years are different. But no one's ever doubted Baker Mayfield's heart and toughness. That dude's tough. And I think he got him a nice bag. He played himself into a real nice bag. They're in a weak division, so they can be competitive right there. I don't think he's going to break the bank. I think he's probably somewhere 25 to 30 million a year. Isn't that ironic? He's not breaking the bank, making $25 to $30 million a year. That's crazy. This kind of shows you where we are, though, in salaries for quarterbacks, because the upper echelon guys are making $40 million a year. So, and higher than that. But I think Baker did a nice job this year. Thoughts on the 49ers? You think it's laid out for them? Can they take down KC or Baltimore? That's going to be a great game. And if that KC team that played tonight shows up in Baltimore, they're going to have a chance to win. I picked KC and the 49ers making it to the Super Bowl a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to stay with that. Kelsey looked really, really good tonight. I like KC's running game, but I don't think KC is going to be able to run the ball against Baltimore. I just don't. I think Baltimore is the best tackling team in the NFL. And I think the 49ers are probably number 2. But nobody tackles like the Baltimore Ravens. And I think that was on display when the 49ers played them, when the Texans played them. They're poised to make a nice run. But just like Rudy Tomjanovich said, you can never doubt the heart of a champion. Which is why, all of this garbage about KC having gone to Buffalo and played in a game with the Bills Mafia. I'm like, really? Come on, man. This is Pat Mahomes. This is Travis Kelce. All right? This is Pacheco. Pacheco runs like a guy trying to get out of Jersey City. You guys ever been to Jersey City? Have you ever been to Jersey City? Jersey City is tough. It is real tough. And do I see Pacheco playing 10 years in the NFL? No, I don't. I think maybe 5 or 6. I don't think you can play that way and have a long storied career. But I think he's going to be a folk hero. He's going to be a folk hero and hopefully get him a nice bag. But the way that he plays football, I don't think it's sustainable. Win a couple Super Bowl rings and ingratiate yourself with that KC community organization, and they'll take care of you. But I don't think this guy's going to play for KC for a long period of time. You can't see it. There you go, Mark. I don't bet, so I don't really keep up on what's happening with regards to betting. But the opening line, 9 or 7-point favorites. That makes perfect sense. They're just that good. Now, even without having any concrete information about Debo, I guess, is it a shoulder or concussion? I don't know. But as long as the weather is not a problem, we would assume that it won't be. We don't know. The 49ers are better. Mark says, I haven't further than Chicago. Are you talking to somebody? I don't know what that means. Vicky says the weather is showing no rain on Sunday. Okay. I love the 49ers' chances. CMC will run right through the Lions defense. Debo too, if he's healthy. Yeah. I think the 49ers are poised to, have a great game. I also think Brock Purdy is poised to, have a great game because he cares. He cares, and he generally doesn't make a lot of mental mistakes unless he's really pressured. Hutchinson can wreck your game plan. There's no doubt about that. But he's going up against Trent Williams. That should be a battle. He'll probably win some. He'll lose some. But I think Brock Purdy is going to have time to survey the Detroit defense and have success. And again, the 49ers receivers and tight ends, the catch radius among those players are the best in the NFL. We can talk about KC all we want tonight. How many crucial drops did Buffalo have tonight? I mean, Trayvon Diggs, listen. They got a lot of money invested in him. He's probably not going to go anywhere. But, he came up short tonight. Josh Allen played like a robo football player, like he always plays, particularly in the playoffs. Josh Allen was right there. He did everything he could do. Yeah, did he not nail that last touchdown pass to 16? Yeah, he came up short there. But by and large, I thought he was money. I thought he played well enough to win. He's my type of quarterback. I really like the way he plays. And the Chiefs are 3.5-point underdog in Baltimore. Makes sense? Oh, it was a shoulder, Debo's shoulder. Yeah, so we don't know about that. Shoulders are kind of tricky. Vicky, you on top of it as well. Thank you. I appreciate you. Mark Gray said the 49ers will have to watch the corner blitz from the Lions. They got to Baker a few times with that blitz. Yeah. And I got to think that Kyle Shanahan is going to watch the tape and be prepared for that. They're going to have to do something else to, I think, have an element of surprise against the 49ers. But I think whomever said it was Vicky or Mark, I'm not quite sure. It's really going to come down to turnovers. I think if Detroit somehow can win the turnover battle and utilize those turnovers for advantageous field position or to score touchdowns, then they got a chance. But just structurally, how these two teams are built, the 49ers are better. And John Lynch, I think here's where having a John Lynch as your general manager matters. This is a guy who's won multiple Super Bowls with multiple organizations. And he walks around like he's still like a player. Even though he is an executive and he's done a phenomenal job with his scouts crafting this roster, he has the aura of a player. So I don't think that the 49ers will allow themselves to have any stone unturned. Not one. So I like their chances. Vicky says the 49ers line is better than Tampa Bay. Yeah, Tampa Bay's strength are their linebackers. Yeah, I would agree with that. The 49ers, I mean, listen. When the preseason started, there was talk of whether or not Greenlaw was even going to make the team. He's had a very solid year, and he's getting a lot of snaps. Steve Wilkes, Steve Wilkes has shown tremendous confidence in Greenlaw and really solidified his career. I don't know if Greenlaw is going to be with the 49ers long term. I think they'll probably keep him. They want to probably re-sign him. There's not many 6'4", 6'5", cat-like 300-plus pound defensive linemen who can supply pressure and also stop the run. So I think it's probably more likely that they keep him and Chase Young moves on down the road. But props to Steve Wilkes. He's really helped that young man solidify his career. I don't think it's a given that Debo's going to play, though, man. Shoulders are tricky, and hopefully he can come back. But someone like a Debo also who kind of understands the business, I don't know if he's going to go out there if he really thinks he's going to put himself in jeopardy. I would say he's probably going to play if he can. But that's something that the 49ers have to be concerned about. I don't think that people are going to be comfortable with Jake Moody until next year, a couple of years down the road. Kicking game is still, if not a problem, something people are concerned about. And, when you plan in a one-game tournament, and you got that juice that Dan Campbell is going to inject into all of his players, spiritual juice. Jared Goff coming home from Marin County, playing at Cal, having the ability to really stuff it in the faces of the LA Rams organization who literally thought that they were sending him to football Siberia. For him to come back to the West Coast and ball out. Some interesting narrative taking place, no doubt about that. Vicky says, I meant the offensive line, but the defensive line is a lot better than Tampa Bay. Yeah, the defensive line. Okay. Brazenly says, that 52-yarder was a huge boost to his confidence, though. Yeah, ended up being a very important kick. Listen, I've been following Jake Moody since he was at Michigan. There's a reason why they drafted him, in the 4th round? There's a reason. Dude has a monster leg. But just like we saw over the past couple of days, these kickers get nervous Green Bay's kicker. That dude can kick the ball 60 yards. Think about Buffalo's kicker. Very good kicker. Wide right. Wide right. You saw homeboy sitting on the bench. Wasn't nobody near him. I don't know how do you bring back a kicker who misses a kick that historically changes your narrative of your history of your organization? How do you bring that guy back? Chiefs or Ravens, Frank? Okay. A couple of shows ago, I picked the Chiefs. I said the Chiefs and the 49ers will play in the Super Bowl. So I'm going to stick with that. But I love the way Baltimore plays. I love how they play. I love the fact that Lamar Jackson looks as good as any quarterback in the NFL right now. But I'm not going to change my, my pick. I'm just looking forward to a great game. I think Baltimore certainly has a better defense. Baltimore is the best tackling team in the NFL. Roquan Smith, number 0. Hamilton at safety on the back end. Their defensive line, solid. KC's going to have to play. Here's the thing about Baltimore's defense. They're not letting Kelsey get off like that. Listen, if they allow Kelsey to get off like he did tonight, call him the best tight end in the history of the NFL. It's done. As a 35-year-old tight end, when you know that you are the game plan, McDonald is the defensive coordinator of Baltimore. McDonald is dialing that up right now. I can't see them letting Kelsey get off. If he does get off, then KC definitely deserves to win. But I think that's going to be, the difference. Because I don't think Pacheco and 25 from LSU, I can't think of his name right now, I don't think they'll be able to run the football consistently against Baltimore. And I think they'll bottle up Kelsey. I think if KC gets off, it's going to be because some of their wide receivers got off. And that's not what we would expect to happen. Who's going to stop Lamar Jackson? Even though I picked KC, they're going to have to play as well or better than they played tonight. Can't wait, man. Brazeley says it's tough life being a kicker. Everyone loves you when you make them, but hate you when you don't. Yeah, man. It is tough. It is tough. But that's what you sign up for, right? Do your job. Make it simple. Do your job. Chiefs defense is very good. I don't think they can stop Lamar. I don't either. I don't think they can stop Lamar. And the thing about Lamar was so beautiful. It took him, 3-4 years to become somebody who could really read defenses and remain calm. He did not forget how to run. Even going back to Lamar Jackson's days at LSU, he used to sling the football around at LSU. I've been watching this dude since college. But it was one of those situations where, like most college quarterbacks, you have one read, you lock in on your one read, you throw the ball to the receiver who's faster than everybody else, and they run 60 yards for a touchdown. It's not a whole lot of reading defenses in college football. But Lamar was a beast. Vicky says, it depends on what KC team shows up. The inconsistencies that KC has shown this year is concerning. Yeah, Vicky, you're right. But that's the beauty of the playoffs, right? Because none of that stuff really matters. You remember we watched that KC team tonight, and we were like, who are these guys? That's how well they played. Pat Mahomes hasn't played with the level of poise throughout the season that he played with tonight. I guess you got to give the offensive coordinator, KC, some credit as well, because their receivers appeared to be more open than they had been throughout the year, particularly Kelsey. Yes, I said Louisville. Did I say Louisville? Yeah, he did go to Louisville. He actually played for a former Arkansas coach, Bobby Pacheco. I can't think of his name right now. Is that right? Yeah, he went to Louisville. It was an absolute beast in Louisville. What about somebody who we're not looking at that might be a breakout star in one of those games next week? I'm looking for ODB. Not ODB. Odell Beckham Jr. to possibly get off next week. He's been a little quiet, but every now and then he'll flash. It wouldn't surprise me if he got off next week against KC. They're going to need somebody to step up. Zay Flowers has been good. Lamar Jackson is the best running back on the team. Lively's been balling. That dude has been balling. And everybody said, Mark Graves is coming back next week. All the commentators, Mark Graves, one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Mark Graves. Yeah, he is. But you see that guy Lively playing? John Harbaugh's like, yeah, let me give you another week, homeboy. Now, imagine if Mark Graves does come back and you got Lively. Ooh. It really helps their offense. No doubt about that. Vicky says it's like Love. He should be held. It's like Love. He should held the ball a little longer and thrown it to his receiver by the sideline. He will learn from. Vicky, that was weird. That was. Yeah, Mark Andrews. Did I say Mark Andrews? Vicky, that last play by Jordan Love was weird to me. Because the pass that he threw had no chance of being that pass had no chance of being caught. Just kind of threw it in the middle of the field. And it's like, wait a minute, dude. As much as you've grown, he actually could have ran and done better. I think he had like 2 timeouts left. I thought that Green Bay getting at least an opportunity to kick a field goal was a foregone conclusion. I didn't see that happening. I don't think anybody really did. So, Jordan didn't seem overwhelmingly shook doing the pressers, so maybe he has the ability to shake it off. He certainly has the talent. It's unbelievable how talented that guy is. And LaFleur, his head coach, I got to tell you, we all see why he's a head coach. He is a terrific play caller. He really is. Those Green Bay wide receivers are wide open. You would think that Green Bay has like 14 guys on offense. That's how open those guys are. And Aaron Jones, after missing 4 or 5 games, being injured, we didn't see that. Aaron Jones was outstanding the last 3 or 4 games on into the playoffs. So, salute to Green Bay. Mark says, Love's last pass looked like a Favre desperation throw. It so did. It really did. It really did. I guess Green Bay just kind of feels that they're playing with house money, Yeah, but that was kind of weird. The 49ers, all right, so the 49ers got to certainly be aware of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Good player. Did he go to Stanford or did he go to USC? Because he has it's like three brothers, right? I mean, the family is incredible. Incredible family. Multiple played football. Parents are outstanding. He went to USC or Stanford, right? I don't remember. I remember watching him play, but I forget what school he went to. But what a player. Sam Laporta is big time. Jahmyr Gibbs, running back out of Alabama, is really good. And who's the other guy? Is it Montgomery they have? I'm not quite sure. They have another running back as well. But I can hear the hype machine being turned up now throughout the week because of 49ers. Oh, he went to Notre Dame. Okay, that's St. Brown. Yeah, isn't it amazing? Is it like three brothers? One went to Notre Dame, one Stanford, and maybe USC? Vicky says Green Bay will be a beast next year. Yeah. They should. They should be. So, you got four teams left. You got San Francisco, you got Detroit, you got you have KC, and you got Baltimore. I think if the NFL dialed this thing up, maybe they could have tinkered with it a little bit, but I mean, to get 3 out of the expected 4 teams in the Final Four, the NFL is looking pretty good right now. I got the ratings are just off the hook, which is why. How many of you guys paid for that Miami KC game? I wasn't paying for that. I mean, I'm like, if the NFL is moving towards a pay-per-view type of scenario, I can see myself paying for the championship round or the Super Bowl. Go to a sports bar or somebody's house. But an opening round game, no, I'm not doing that. And apparently, 30 million people did. I think it sucks. I think it's terrible that they would do that. There's some other news out there with regards to the NFL that I wanted to touch on. Antonio Pierce getting the Raiders job, I think is that's a good look for the Raiders. And I think it's a good look for Mark Davis's wallet as well. He certainly has the attention of the players. A lot of the narratives around what a head coach has to possess, be an offensive genius, a defensive guru. I think you need to be a leader of men. When you look at a guy like Dan Campbell, without looking, does anybody really know what Dan Campbell's expertise is? I don't. Is he an offensive coordinator? No. Is he a defensive coordinator? No, he's not. Is he a leader of men? Yes, he is. Do his players go out and play 100% for him? Yes, they do. Do they trust him? Do they believe in him? Yes, they do. I think at the end of the day, Mark Davis was like, I've screwed this up a lot. I'm not going to screw this up again. Vicky says the refs stayed out of the games. Yeah, I think the refs did a great job. No real controversy at all. Mark Gray said 30 million Swifties paid for Peacock. You know what's funny, Mark? It just kind of tells you how out of the loop I am. Because that's not even like something I would even think about. But you're absolutely right. To think that she has not impacted the NFL this year, It's nuts. She has. And I don't think in a negative light either. I think in a positive light. And as a songwriter myself, I respect the hell out of her artistry. Tremendous songwriter, great artist. And not to get mushy because it can fall apart. But I hope she and Travis make it, man. I really do. I know a lot of famous people. And people that got money and they're famous and this and that. And you think that their lives are just so fabulous. And the reality is that's not always the case. And to think that at this stage of their life, both are extremely successful, that they can make that commitment to one another over a long period of time, is something to be admired. So I would love to see Travis come back and play one more year next year and balled out. He's already said he's playing. And then maybe take a look at stepping away. I mean, at that point, he could be conceivably looked upon as the greatest tight end to ever play in the NFL. His Hall of Fame credentials are already cemented. So I love to see people win, man. I love it. I love to see people win. I don't know how you can walk around with hate. I think, for example, there's a lot of Drake hate out there. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand the Drake hate. Is Drake the greatest rapper in the world? No, he's not. Did he step into the scene and do something that no one else could do? Yes. He could rap and he can sing. Is there a machinery component to what he does in the music business? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Does he make some incredible records? Yes, he does. He does. So I don't get the Drake hate. I don't understand it. Vicky says he is a good coach for the Raiders. I totally agree. Antonio Pierce, salute. My man Glenn Docious, what's up, Frank? R.I.P. to the Warriors assistant. With Siakam gone to the Pacers, who do you see the Warriors going after? I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't trade at all. Glendocious, you and I are on the same page. As I was preparing for the show, in my notes, I do prepare, man. I know you guys are Red just kind of shows up and he does a show. No, that's not how it works. Not with me. There's 2 or 3 hours of prep that I do for every show. And I think that you're right. I think the Warriors are actually more likely now not to trade anybody. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not fair to bring somebody from the outside into that community now where people are grieving. So I don't think it's going to happen. And I was thinking of a line before I came on. I said, you know what? There are no silver linings. There are no silver linings with regards to what took place. There are only outcomes. And I think this is one of the outcomes. I think the Warriors are probably going to stand pat. They're smart structurally. They're not trading Kuminga. That's not going to happen. So that's the only player on the Warriors roster, with the exception of maybe a Chris Paul for salary cap reasons, that anybody would be all that interested in. And I think also because of what has transpired over the past almost a week at this point, the Warriors have had the opportunity to look at the landscape of the Western Conference. And the conclusion that I think that they've drawn is, you know what? We can make it into the top 6, 8, just like the Orlando Magic are starting to drop back to the pack. I think the Warriors feel when they get Draymond back, and I know everybody's like, well, Red, you don't know how Draymond's going to act. No, I don't know. But if you got Draymond, you got Chris Paul, Kuminga continues to get better. Podzinski continues to play well. There's no reason why this team can't get on a run. I mean, Sac is not as good as they were last year. I feel bad for Sac fans because, I mean, Mike Brown is scratching his head right now, saying, what's up with my team? Because they're not playing well. They're not. I think the Warriors are in pretty good shape based off what I've seen. When you look at the top teams in the Western Conference, obviously the Clippers, I think the Clippers are for real. The Clippers are good. Denver is good. I'm sorry. If the Warriors played OKC in a 7-game series, I'm picking the Warriors. As good as OKC is, OKC gets a lot of foul calls. They're not getting those foul calls in the playoffs. And Dallas is talented. Dallas is very talented too. So, not a big believer in Phoenix. I'm not. I think if you take one of those guys away, they have problems. I like where the Warriors are. I really do. Mark Gray said, music question. How many pop stars actually write their own songs? Not a lot, Mark. And that's wow, man. You know, I mean, before I got into music and I became a good writer, because I wasn't always a good writer, because you know, I didn't know what that was about. I didn't know that being a great writer is really about courage, you know? I mean, you need to have some talent to be able to put words together. But you got to be willing to share your life, you know, your experiences. I admire people who can write for other artists because it happens also. Writers are very rare. There aren't a lot of, there aren't a lot of really good writers. They're not. I don't know what the percentage of artists that write all of their own lyrics, the Nas's of the world, which is why he's so revered. To the best of my knowledge, he writes everything. Jay-Z writes his lyrics. J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar. These are superstars, you know, in the game. And you said pop stars. Yeah, I don't know. Not a lot. Not as many as you would think. I would say that. Taylor Swift does. Taylor does. And I think that that's really, really impressive. Ed Sheeran writes. You know, he writes a lot of his own stuff. There are talented artists out there, but not as many as we would think. My name is Frank Red. What's up, everybody? This is In the Dungeon Show, coming to you live. Hit me up in the comment section if you want to add to the program. We just chopped it up. We're talking about the NFL. It's a big NFL weekend leading up to the AFC Championship game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning Super Bowl champions. And in the NFC, you have the prohibitive favorite, San Francisco 49ers, taking on the upstart Detroit Lions, led by Jared Goff, Marin's own, Cal Berkeley's own, good guy who made good. Yeah, man. I would like to see Jared Goff play well. I want to see the 49ers win. But I want to see Jared play well. It'll be interesting. Their offense is just so basic. You know, I don't think they can challenge the 49ers. I don't think so. You guys know Amy Trask? Amy Trask? I know you guys know her. The former CEO of the Oakland Raiders, who's now established a presence in the media as an analyst, you know, as somebody who gives predictions. I'm going to comment about something she said after I give Vicky's comment in here. Vicky says, how do you think the death will affect the Warriors team? It can galvanize the team or destroy it. It seems that the Western Conference is very down from last year. Yes, Vicky, that's my point. That's my point, and that was a point that I made. Um, yeah, I mean, looking at the landscape, I think it's really heavy at the top. But these teams don't scare me. They don't. I mean, again, I look at OKC. OKC is really talented, but I think that they're a year away. I think that one of the things that you're not seeing in the NBA, unlike an Eastern Conference with the Miami Heat, very few teams, if any, in the Western Conference play zone. Why? Because they don't want to give away their strategy. In the playoffs, you're going to see a lot more Western Conference teams play zone. And if you're going to play zone against any team, it's going to be OKC because they're not really a good shooting team. They have some good shooters. Obviously, the kid from Arkansas can shoot. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not really a good three-point shooter. They don't have a lot of good three-point shooters. They got guys who can get to the cup. So I think they're a year away. I think they'll flash, but I don't see OKC. They may not even win an opening round series. And with regards to how losing someone in the Warriors community is going to affect the team, I think that they'll still be grieving for the rest of the season, maybe into next year. You know, this guy was really instrumental in not only what happens from basketball perspective, but he was generally a great person by all accounts. He's leaving behind a family, so emotionally, when you lose somebody in your family, it lingers. But these are pros. These are pros, and I think that they get it. They understand what their jobs are, and I think they're going to go out and honor Dejan as best they can and play basketball, because that's what they do. I mean, this is not something that they learn how to do. They know how to play basketball. It's more reactionary. And they have a desire, an insatiable desire to win and to compete. So, like I said before, there are no silver linings. There are only outcomes. One of the outcomes is they're rested now. The Warriors are physically rested, emotionally drained, but probably physically rested. Unless they've got on a plane and went halfway around the world. I don't know if they've done that, but yeah. So Vicky says, I got into it with Amy. Can you expound on that? Because I also reached out to her via Twitter this morning and she hit me back. That's one of the things about this woman has 75,000 Twitter or X subscribers. And she hit me back like within 5 or 10 minutes. And I thought that was impressive. Vicky says, Joe, the owner of the Warriors, said he would take care of his family, I'm assuming you said? If SAC doesn't get their act together, they might not make the playoffs. That's a great point. So, but Vicky, how did you get into it with Amy? I want to hear what the conversation was about. Because this is what I said, and I know you get my tweets, so you saw what I wrote. But basically what I said was, Amy got hammered because she said that Brock Purdy was not a great quarterback. And then he came out and he played against Green Bay, and he didn't play great. He played good. He played good enough. And one game does not define a season. The guy is a good quarterback. He is. Is he a great quarterback? Not yet. No, he's not a great quarterback. In my opinion. So many people want to pull out the stat machines. Let me go to a website and pull out all of the good stats to support my thesis that Brock Purdy's a great quarterback. Watch the games. Watch the games. You know, I'm not saying that I'm one of the, that I'm allergic to stats. I'm not, but I trust my eyes more than anything. More than anything. I mean, I heard people. Now, what I said to Amy was, she said that there are, of the 8 teams that were left, she said that there were 7 great quarterbacks remaining, and Brock Purdy was a good quarterback. I have a problem with that. And I said, you know what? Brock Purdy seems lonely in the only good category. There are other quarterbacks that should be in the good category, not great. Like a Baker Mayfield, for instance. Even a Jordan Love. Would you call Jordan Love a great quarterback at this point? I wouldn't. I wouldn't call him a great quarterback. You know, greatness, again, is defined over a period of time. You know, there's so many different things. Like even like the hype machine with like CJ Stroud. I'm like, can we please take a breather? You know, can we get some air? Is he good? Hell yeah. Is he talented? Absolutely. But did you see Baltimore just shut him down? They shut him down. You know, I'm like, you know, don't put that on the guy. He had a phenomenal rookie year. He throws the deep ball like no other. But give him time. Give him time. The hype machine is crazy. Purdy, she said, was 7 great quarterbacks in Brock Purdy. Yeah, so so do you think, Vicky, you think Purdy's a great quarterback? Or you think he's a good quarterback? Because I think he's good. I think he's good, and I think that there were other quarterbacks who should have been in the good category. Not great. But her stating that Brock Purdy isn't great, I don't think was wrong at all. And then, like, you get into situations where, you know, I question whether people dismiss her analysis because she's a woman. Certainly not everybody. And there are a lot of professionals out there that wouldn't even think of that. But there are a bunch of people who probably would. And that sucks because it has nothing to do with it. She was spot on based on what we saw. SG, what's up, brother? How you doing? My night, how's your night going? My night is going fantastic. I didn't know how things would be, but it's something about doing the show, man, that just comes really natural. And I think it's the people. It's the people that step in and support me. I'm getting a little better at marketing, so if you like this show, hit the like button. You know, I hear people begging, please hit the like button, hit it again, subscribe. It helps. It definitely helps. So if you like the show, hit the like button because these algorithms definitely get the show out there. If you don't subscribe and you like it, then subscribe to the show. You can follow me on X, Twitter at Big Frank Red. I love talking to folks and engaging in conversation. Yes, Vicky, this is my point. It took Joe Montana years to become great. Yes, it did. And I mean, you know what people are doing? People are comparing Brock Purdy's historic year, stat-wise, for statistics, and comparing them to Joe Montana. I'm like, yeah, and what does that mean? His stats are historically better than Joe Montana's in a given year. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. Dude's not Joe Montana. The NFL is not the NFL 20 years ago. I mean, you know, the NFL was far more physical 20 plus years ago. It was different. Universally, the coaching is probably better now. I don't like that. And I mean, no one can control when they were born. You know, I mean, that's nobody's fault. But this proliferation of we're going to build narratives based on stats, it's crazy. It's crazy. To me, it is. It's a great show. Read my other posts. Okay, about Joe taking years to be great. I hit the like button. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, listen. I'm one of those guys who really focuses on the bag because this industry, this entertainment that we have the luxury and the pleasure of watching, before we do what we do throughout the week, is fabulous. I love it. I love to watch football. Love it. But the game seems kind of rigged to me, I want to see a guy like Purdy who is making a lot of general managers look bad get a check. I want to see that. Vicky says, I just think to me the 49ers have been looking for a quarterback for a decade. Now this kid comes along and does this. It's a wonderful story. It is. It is a wonderful story. I totally agree. But you don't have to anoint him to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. That is loony talk to me. I was thinking about that today. I was like, okay, so who are the really, really good quarterbacks in the NFL? Joe Burrow, in no particular order. Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Lamar. That's 4, right? Who else are there? I'm going to put Dak there. I know you guys like they're not red. Don't put Dak there. I'm putting Dak there. I mean, I don't know if he's – Dak is I think Dak's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Matthew Stafford? Dude is still slinging it. Still. Jalen Hurts is elite. I want to say he is. Didn't like his season. Mark says Herbert, but really hasn't won. Yeah, he's big time. Yes. I've heard people say Brock Purdy, the top 5 quarterback. I mean, come on now. Stop it. Okay, I read that. Yeah, so listen. The NFL right now is cooking. A lot of people don't like Roger Goodell and they don't like the NFL. I mean, I have no problem with the NFL outside of one thing. This pay to watch football crap, I got a serious problem with that. For the playoffs, I got a problem with it. And maybe, people are like, Red, you're the get off my lawn guy, and okay. I don't scream and stomp my feet. I just don't pay for it. Kirk Cousins is better than Purdy. Is not even close. Kirk Cousins is good. Kirk Cousins is laughing all the way to the bank. I mean, there are people who have doubted this guy forever, going back to his Washington days. And all he does is put up crazy numbers, ridiculous numbers. So, if you're in Acapulco on a beach with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, and the martinis are flying, and my virgin pina colada is tasting good. I got some whipped cream on it, and we're just talking football. They'll probably be like, yo, Red, you know what? We really don't want a top 5 quarterback. We don't need a top 5 quarterback. We need a guy who can run the offense, not make a lot of mistakes, and put the ball on people. That's what we want. And we can win. And check this out. The formula is literally one game away from getting to the mecca of football, which is the Super Bowl. And they've done it with Mr. Irrelevant. Pretty impressive. You know? No, they want to pay their offensive linemen $35 million a year, 30. They don't want to pay a quarterback $35 million a year, a 40. No, they want to pay their starting quarterback maybe 20 to 25 million, which is okay if you're going to guarantee 50 or 75. I don't have a problem with that, but they don't want a quarterback making that kind of money because you can't pay other people. I get it. Vicky says basketball seems rigged to me because the refs get way too involved. I don't know if you saw the new interview with the refs that did the bets. It's very interesting. I didn't see the interview, Vicky, but I just logically and fundamentally, I played basketball on a high level. And if anybody can cheat, referees can cheat. I'll give you an example. A long time ago, we were playing St. John's, right? And St. John's Fordham. We're playing at St. John's. We wind up losing the game by 1 point. It was my sophomore year. I started, right? And St. John's was loaded, okay? They had about 3 or 4 pros on their team. You could figure out the pros. I could tell you this and that. But we're playing the game. We were winning the whole game, right? A player on my team steals the ball from one of their top players. Did not touch him. Referee calls a foul. Their player goes, makes a couple of free throws. They're up 3 or 2 or whatever. We wound up losing by 1 point. My point is, Bobby Knight said a long time ago, he said, if anybody was in a position to cheat, it's referees. So, yeah, I mean, the NBA has had problems in the past that they've tried to stuff out, but we really don't know how deep those problems were. Only the league knows and the people who were involved. So, your comment and your conversation is really like Pandora's box when it comes to the NBA, because the action happens so fast. So many different plays are happening that affect the game that if somebody wanted to do something that was below bar, low bar or illegal, they could definitely do it. There's no doubt about it. Vicky says, how many Super Bowls does Cousins have? That would be 0. Okay? That would be 0. Well, how many zeros does he have in his bank account? Quite a few. It'll be interesting to see where he plays next year. Does he go back to Minnesota? You know? Why not? Why not go back to Minnesota? All the coaches are complaining. Yeah. Darko, did you see Darko complain? The Toronto Raptors coach? That was listen. Those sound bites are some of the funniest sound bites that you've ever heard. I mean, that's like in the hello category. They are what we thought they are, you know. They're going to be playing Darko sound bites of that night against the Lakers for the next decade. My favorite, this is Shane. Scotty Barnes. This is shame. This is shame. I was like, I never seen somebody be so elegant and so pissed off and use such soft words to describe how infuriated he was. This is shame. Mike Brown. I don't know what Mike was doing. Mike was articulating a picture on a computer that actually validated the referee. And he got hit with a $50,000 fine. I'm like, Mike, you gotta do a better job. Did the pictures did the sequences get screwed up or something? Because your man had his hand on his lower hip. I don't understand that. That was crazy. On Netflix, it's Untold. Okay, the referee deal. Operation Flagrant Foul. The Tim Donahue was interesting. Yeah, and here's the thing about Tim Donahue. He had a lot of mentors in the NBA, right? And most of them have actually found their way out of the NBA. But I didn't see the doc, but about like the small little tiny Catholic school in Philly that for whatever reason was producing a whole lot of NBA refs. Interesting. Yes, Vicky, that's what we assume. Yeah. It's deep, man. It's deep. And players are talking about it more and more now that their careers are over. And they're going on these shows and building content themselves and reflecting on their careers and talking about certain things that transpired during their playing days involving referees and also involving commentators and other players. And it's really interesting. We're in an interesting time right now. Mike might get a free vacation in Tahoe because of his fine. At least a discount, right? Yeah. What did Mike sign? A 4-year, $20 million deal? I'm not mad at that. I usually comment. Oh, Windows should get a minute here. Tim Donahue single-handedly kept the Kings from the finals. Wow. Explain. Because I don't remember him refereeing any of those games, but I was at game 7, Glendocious. I was at game 7 when Pager shot the ball off the side, the backboard. And Mike and the guy from Providence, Doug Christie, didn't have a great game either. And Shaq actually made like 4 free throws in a row the last 2 minutes, the last minute of the game. I thought the Lakers took that game. And I was there in the media section. The Kings had a prime opportunity to win that game. Maybe I wasn't looking as closely as maybe you were. I think you're probably talking about game 7, but I was there. The Kings choked that one away. Pager was not good. Neither was Doug Christie. The one thing about Chris Webber that I love, Chris Webber played his best basketball against the best opponents as a member of the Sacramento Kings. He really did. So the timeout when he was at Michigan, none of that even matters to me because Webb balled out. Webb played his ass off. In all those big games, Chris Webber was outstanding. And, the Robert Horry three-pointer in game 6, that's just stupid luck, man. Stupid luck. What can you do? I just want the refs to be consistent. What about the players? You want them to be consistent? What do you think, Vicky? SG, how you doing, brother? 30-10 is just not consistent. I mean, this is something that you actually know about, Vicky, so I'm not going to press you too much. But my coach, my high school coach, the great Frank Morris, from a very young age, he told all of us, don't worry about referees. Don't complain to referees. Go out and play. And I'm thinking that there's enough plays within a game that the best team generally wins. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am naive because I generally don't focus on referees. I don't bet. But most of the time, to me, the best team wins. Thank you. I feel as a player, I feel less than. Don't get me wrong. I've been fouled and go, yo, call the foul. But the first thing I think about is referees being fallible. I mean, they're not perfect. They're coaches and they're fans, supporters of the sport that could conceivably know more than a referee, even though they're trained. They make bad calls. I mean, like, for instance, but there is a theatrical component to sports, particularly in the NBA. It's always been that way. Stephen Curry's not getting as many calls right now. He's not. Think about it. When Stephen goes to the hole and he gets hit sometimes, they're not calling fouls like they were before. Know why? Because he's not making as many shots. That's why, because he's not making as many shots. So they're not calling as many fouls. Sometimes it's just about referees protecting their territory. And sometimes it's about cheating. But referees, because of the cheating component, are really, really scrutinized in ways that the casual fan don't know about. Literally after the game, they got to break the tape down. And they get called on the carpet. They get kicked out of the league. A lot of pressure. That's right. That's what I said, Vicky. Steph got hit in the head twice in one game. Nothing was called. Yeah. It's how the NBA is. Steph's shooting numbers are considerably down this year than in previous years. He's not going to get as many calls. If he starts making more shots, then he's going to get more calls. I guarantee you. Now, I wanted to talk about something that I've started watching. Usually I talk about movies. I'm going to talk about, and this is season 4. I haven't even seen the other ones. True Detective on HBO. I watched the first episode with Jodie Foster and another young lady on season 4. Really good. Really good. So for those of you who already watched True Detective, like Red, you are so late. I am late. I didn't watch Game of Thrones until I don't know, a decade after it was on. And somebody was like, Red, you should watch that. And I watched the whole thing. Love it. Love Game of Thrones. But True Detective on HBO, I'm really digging season 4. This is only episode 2. I'm interested in watching that. But if you don't watch it and you want to watch something interesting, you got HBO, you might want to check that out. All right. SG says Stanford's Tara Vanderveer is officially the winningest coach in NCAA basketball history, as she broke former Duke men's basketball coach Mike Krzyzewski's record of 1,202 career victories. Yeah, man. Salute to Tara Vanderveer. A phenomenal coach. I actually have friends who have played for her, and she's not easy to play for. very demanding. She makes you better. Obviously, a phenomenal coach, but it's no holiday. And that speaks volumes because if it was a holiday while you were playing, then something probably didn't go right. So, nothing but respect and admiration for Tyra Vanderveer. I would like to see her give somebody else an opportunity, though. I don't know how many more years she wants to coach, but there's been a lot of young ladies sitting on that bench who've been tremendously loyal to her, who I'm sure have been on the recruiting path to bring in all those talented young ladies that she's coached en route to those 1,200 plus victories. I would love to see somebody else get an opportunity. So I'm not ready to push her out the door. She'll make that decision. But it wouldn't make me sad to see her go and maybe become a commentator or do something else to promote basketball. I think it's time. She'll decide that, though. Vicky says, tough coach, but a great coach. No question. Yes. Yes. Thoughts on Caitlin Clark? Wow. SG, just a lightning bolt of energy that women's basketball needed. Women's basketball is on an uptick. I followed the game for 20 years because I love basketball, and it doesn't matter if it's men or it's women, but the skill level that she possesses, her swag, her elegance, her sophistication, her beauty, her awareness of the fans, it's all good. So I'm a big Caitlin Clark supporter. Can't wait till she gets to the WNBA. I'm probably a bigger fan of Paige Beckers, though. I love Paige Beckers just has more swag to her game. I'm not going to say she's more skilled than Caitlin. There's a young lady on North Carolina State, too, that I love, who's outstanding. Watkins down at USC is outstanding. I mean, listen, women's basketball is the joint, okay? There's so many great women's players out there. So many. South Carolina has 3 or 4 pros on their team. LSU, it's more than a caveat little industry now. No, women's basketball is big money. Now, you might have noticed my voice been a little raspy because I coached my first game this past weekend. We didn't win. And we actually lost by 15. We lost, 38-20, 13, 38-25. I'm not quite sure. And I told my girls, I said, I'm so proud of you all. They were so courageous. You're talking about young ladies who have, with the exception of one player, and she scored most of our points. Nobody else has really ever been on a team before. And basketball is hard. And we were playing against really good teams. So I got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. But we're going to build it. And I'm looking forward to the challenge. But just trying to keep the spirits up of my young ladies because they are certainly doing something that is courageous, which is learning how to play a beautiful game. And the adulation that they're going to experience from learning how to play and learning a particular skill and then build it on another skill and another skill. It's going to be pretty special. SG says, Iowa Star, Caitlin Clark scored 45, but Iowa State ended the Hawkeyes' 15-game winning streak to improve to 15-3 on the season and 6-1 in the Big Ten. Yeah, Ohio State's tough. They're good. Mickey says if the USA women's basketball team can win a gold medal, I think that will help bring more girls into the league. I can't hurt, Mickey. That's for sure. I think that there is a parade of young ladies that are en route to the WNBA, with or without the Olympics, but certainly to promote that brand on a worldwide level against the world's best players is something that can only help. And we have a tremendous amount of talent. There's no doubt. When basketball is played right, it is a beautiful game, no question. My favorite WNBA player is Sabrina Ionescu of the New York Liberty. Yeah, she's my favorite too. Yeah, she's my favorite too. And she's from the Bay, you know. Very talented young lady. I just don't want them to get hurt. Sometimes injuries pop up, like Paige Beckers has not gotten hurt this year. Thank God. The other player on their team, Fuzz, had a knee injury, and she's done. She's been done for a long time. Hopefully, she'll come back next year. But yeah, I'm big on women's basketball. I don't listen to a lot of sports talk radio, because there doesn't appear to be, again, room for a lot of different narratives. It's like, one narrative kind of leads and everybody jumps on board. And I don't like that. I love having the autonomy of thought. Now, usually, when you have the autonomy of thought, you don't make as much money. You don't make any money. When you have these relationships and you're building narratives, people want to hire you for stuff, then you tend to make a little more money. So I get it. It's not my job. It's fun for me to do this. All right. I'll probably do a show if the Warriors come back and play on, was it Tuesday or Wednesday? They're scheduled to play I believe the Atlanta Hawks, and I think they're going to play. So I'm going to do a show after that. I look forward to it. Just like Vicky said, hit the like button, Vicky. I am so appreciative of your support. Everybody else who's hitting the like button, thank you. Just to recap, the San Francisco 49ers are in the NFC Championship game. They're going to take on the Detroit Lions next Sunday. They were victorious over Green Bay, 24-21. They are the prohibitive favorite over Detroit, but don't tell Dan Campbell that. Don't tell Jared Goff and their fans. I wonder if Eminem was going to come out. I don't know. Maybe that's a bit much. But the 49ers take on Detroit at Levi next Sunday. And the Baltimore Ravens and the KC Chiefs have the look of a potential classic when they match up for the AFC Championship crown. So that's going to be interesting as well. Yes, Vicky, the Warriors are scheduled to play on Wednesday. Thank you. I appreciate you. SG says Sabrina Ionescu spoke at Kobe Bryant's celebration of life event at Staples Center, which was so emotional. Yeah, Kobe and his daughter had I guess a pretty close relationship with Sabrina. So I'm going to do my thing and get out of here, everybody. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I appreciate you. Success and getting paid is a manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. Once again, I want to send out my prayers and thoughts to Dejan Milovic, the former assistant of the Golden State Warriors, who unfortunately passed because of a heart attack. The Warriors once again showed that they're not defined by their 4 championships. They're defined by how classy an organization they are. And they got it right. All right. Once again, hit me up at Big Frank Red and hit the like button if you like the show. Subscribe to the In the Dungeon program if you like what you hear. And I look forward to talking to you on Wednesday. Peace. Good night, everybody.